test for the new Speaker, Mike Johnson. Is this as weeks Republicans are bringing in an emergency aid bill to Israel? The proposed bill would take the money from the IRS budget and reduce its overall size. But Democrats, they're not on board, setting up a battle on Capitol Hill.
And here to discuss, Republican from New York, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Claudia Tenney. Congressman Tenney, always great to have you with us. Do you support this bill coming up tomorrow, and why?
Yeah, first of all, I actually introduced a bill last week separating the Israel aid from the Ukraine aid and the other aid that was put together in the Senate package. I discussed this with our new Speaker, Mike Johnson. He had not realized that I had put that together, and he put back up a similar package, which added the component of finding a way to pay for this through defunding the IRS agents, which was a high priority of the Republicans. So in the end, I think we have a decent package. I mean, the Democrats are complaining, but are you going to choose the IRS, or are you going to choose helping our greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, Israel, who is under siege by terrorist attack and really just major war going on there between the Iran proxies, Hezbollah, and Hamas and Islamic Jihad?
Congresswoman, talk about the job the State Department should be doing and what kind of rhetoric we should be hearing out of them to get our Americans that are trapped in Gaza, also the Americans that we know that have been taken hostage by Hamas.
Right. Well, sadly, what we're seeing here is just, more of the same type of tactics used by terrorist regimes. Unfortunately, I hope this doesn't turn out looking like the surrender of Afghanistan that President Biden and his team handled so poorly, and I even called for his impeachment over the debacle in Afghanistan. It was a surrender. It wasn't just a botched leave of Afghanistan. It was a terrible surrender of Americans left behind, and I worry that the Biden administration is not aggressive enough in trying to get people rescued out of Hamas, out of Gaza, particularly. But I know that this is a modern country, one of the biggest high-tech countries in not only the Middle East but in the world, in Israel. So we have a very sophisticated population with this. Unfortunately, this situation happening in Gaza. Look, we left Gaza in 2005. The Israelis did to Hamas. And they've turned, they had world-class architecture and a world-class structure, which they turned into basically a terrorist state, filled with tunnels. And now we've seen the seeds of their destruction, all those tens of millions, hundreds of $millions being wasted on terrorist schemes instead of helping the people. So I'm hoping that the Biden administration will start talking tough. Hostage negotiations don't work. That's exactly how Iran got $6 billion. We allowed them to have hostage negotiations to get that $6 billion. Now, remember, right when that was happening, when Biden and Blinken were negotiating the hostage deal to get our hostages out of Iran for $6 billion, the former economic minister of Iran, who's still involved in the regime, said, "We will take 1,000 hostages because that's how we're going to rebuild our economy from the Americans." So this is not a good thing that we're in. We should have had stronger policy. We need to continue to crack down on Iran, who's continuing to supply the finances and the money for Hamas to continue.
Exactly what we have been talking about here, and it seems that it took a lot of the Biden administration to take a long time to actually admit that. But again, we like to report it as it is, as do you, Congresswoman Tenney. Thank you so much for being with us.